Thank you, Mr Mayor. We have one apology and request for a leave of absence from Councillor Sarah Tiffin, and we have Councillor Nicholas Wright has advised that due to illness he is online this evening. Thank you.
Do I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Morris, seconded by Councillor Mason. Any discussion? All in favour? Did it carry? Anybody against it? No, I declare it carried. Thank you. Moving on to confirmation of minutes. Recommendation is that the minutes of the ordinary meeting Tuesday the 28th of April 2026 declared the disclosure of interest. I have one, so we'll go with around the table. Deputy Mayor Michael.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll be declaring a significant non-pecuniary interest on item 7.2, support for local government New South Wales Caring for Our Regions Action Plan, and Dr Joan McGirr's Rural Health Action Plan, Better Care Closer to Home Alliance. I'm an employee of New South Wales Health, so I'll be excusing myself from the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm just declaring a significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest with regards to agenda item 8.8, the community grants, as I am on the committee of the Leeton Shire Society, so I won't be present for that vote. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr Mayor, through you.
Go ahead, Councillor Wright.
I also need to declare a significant non-pecuniary interest at item 8.8 because I am on the committee of Leeton Connect, which is a applicant. Would it be possible to deal with that separately?
Yes, Councillor Wright, we're going to have to work this out because we've got a few in this particular item on the agenda. I have one myself, so we'll work it out a bit closer to the time when we do. Right, what will happen is that people who want to move away from the meeting will do that, and then what we'll do, we'll probably do a whole lot, and then do the one or two or three that happen to be separate, right? So
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Councillor Maton.
Yeah, I'd also like to declare a significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest in item 8.8. I'm good friends with the Business Chamber President, and I also attend the Business Chamber meetings on behalf of Council. So I just want to declare.
Thank you, Councillor Maton. And I would like, I would also like to declare a less than significant non-pecuniary interest in 8.8, which is the Community Strengthening Grants, round 2. Is for the Chamber of Commerce. I better stand up and do all this. I'll move this up because I'm on the executive of the Chamber of Commerce, so I'll be stepping out. And so we've got 3 for that particular.
Sorry, you're right. You finished.
Yeah. Mr Mayor, just through you, as we're getting started, I didn't hear Councillor Maton whatever she said. So I don't know if she didn't have her mic on or if that's an error with the system.
Yeah, Councillor Maton.
Do you want me to speak again? I've just handed that in, Nicholas, but I was declaring a significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest in item 8.8 due to sitting on the Business Chamber, not on the executive, but I do attend the meetings as a councillor. I'm also friends with the Business Chamber President. So declaring that interest.
Thank you very much. Councillor Morris.
Sorry, Mr Mayor, I hadn't quite got in before you. Mine is also 8.8 because I'm a council representative on the Leeton Chamber of Commerce. So I've declared a significant non-pecuniary interest.
Rightio, just give me 2 secs while I do a bit of thinking here. Councillor Edwards, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I'd also just like to declare, in regards to item 8.8, that I am good friends with the President of the Leeton Chamber of Commerce, so I will not be present for that one either. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Just 2 secs, I'll just do some thinking here.
We're too sociable, aren't we?
Now, I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5, I think, in that particular item. Son?
They're four on
Four.
that one, but it takes us,
Do you want me to take yours?
Hello.
tricky situation.
Oh, is it a quorum or not a quorum?
It's 4 out of 8.
488, right, yeah, and I have to step out. Pardon me, just pass over to. Yeah, 4,
Councillor Wright was Leeton Connect.
yeah. Yeah, and we've got 4 or 5.
Yes, I'm talking about the actual individual item, yeah. So for the Leeton Business Chamber item in 8.8, we've got Councillor Morris, Councillor Matham, Councillor Edwards and the Mayor.
Which is 4.
4
4,
out
right,
of
yeah.
8 present.
Present, so that's very close. Something goes through my mind, if this was postponed to another time, would that cause problems? Or not?
Mr Mayor, between now and this item, we'll just do some quick homework
Right,
around
yeah, good, thank you.
the meaning of a quorum in this situation, yeah.
Very good, councillor. We're all community members, and that's fantastic. We're all involved, but we're not lying in our own pockets. We are helping our fellow community people, so that's good. All right, so we have declare of interest. We have that recorded. So what we might move on to. Right, next item is the Mirror Minute. It's in front of you, the Mirror Minute, in regard to invest in us. Any questions on that? I'll put it. Can I put a motion? All in favour? Thank you. Those against? Good. Well done, everybody. That's good. Next one is 7.2, supporting the caring for our region. That's another very important one. Good, thank you. Any discussion? All in favour? All in favour? Yep. Anybody against? No. All right. Councillor Kidd, you can come back. Councillor Kidd. Good. Thank you, councillors. Where we move on to reports to council. 8.1.
We're just catching up, Mr Mayor, in
All right.
papers, so.
We're looking at page 23 of the agenda. Item 8.1 is in regard to the budget review for the quarterly ending 31st of March. I'll just have a wait and see everybody's got their hand up when we'll be okay to start. It is quite a big agenda tonight. So I take everybody's got to that particular part of the paper? Good, thank you. There's a recommendation from staff that council reviews and considers the quarterly budget review as on the 31st of March 2026 and approves the changes as recommended by management. Do I have a motion? Anybody want to put forward that? Moved by councillor Kidd, seconded by councillor Morris. Any discussion? Discussion? Councillor Nardi.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just on item 5, the recommended budget changes, can I just have some clarification on the public art project / tourism of 100,000, please?
General Manager, through to you, through to the Director of...
Can councillors switch their red lights off when they finish speaking? Just Thank you. Thank you, Mr Mayor. The $100,000 had to do with the murals at Cannery Corner. And as councillors can see, that was always intended to be external funding. But at this point in time, it's commenced. No additional grant money is required from council because Sunrise is doing it on our behalf. Thank you.
Okay, councillor Nardi.
Yep, and I just have one more. Just in the 150,000 that was budgeted for the Roxy, does that include the road network of Roxy Lane as well as was stipulated in the beginning? Thank you.
General Manager?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Can you tell me what page you're on, please? So it's on the recommended budget changes, Roxy operational grant. So are we looking at 0.5 of 0.5? At the end of the day, that has nothing to do with Roxy Lane at all. It is merely in council's revenue in the budget for the Roxy. There was 80,000 anticipated from grant money. We now have a much bigger lump sum for the establishment of RIPA that will be run as a separate work order, but it's only going to happen next year. So that's why it's been recommended to come out of this year's budget for the Roxy.
Okay, Commissioner Nardi, any more comments on it?
Through you,
Director?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
So this is, Councillor, this is just a timing issue. So most of the operating grant will be recognized next year on this. Yeah.
All right, I had a move and a second. Any more discussion before I put the motion? All in favour? Say aye. Those against? I declare it's carried. Thank you. Moving on to page. I've got a page number, have I? Thank you. Thank you very much, councillors. Right, yeah. A delivery program quarterly progress update, 1st of January, 21st of March. It's a separate document. That was another quite a hefty document, which was an agenda. There's a recommendation from staff. Would someone like to move that? Moved by Councillor Nardi, second by Councillor Kidd. Any discussion? All right, I'll put the motion. All in favour? All right, have I gone too soon for you?
Sorry, yes.
All right, I'll wait.
We're just going through, it's the separate
All right.
reports. Yeah.
All right.
And through
So
you,
we're still
Mr.
waiting for discussion then.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I just wanted to check if Councillor Wright had a question or if he was just hands up to agree to the motion.
Thank you so much for your consideration, Councillor Madam. I was just supporting the motion. Thank you.
No worries.
Councillor Tiffin?
Mr Mayor, this is just an observation. There are some major subsidies taking place in that document, and so scope for some significant efficiency gains to reduce the load on ratepayers exist.
We're on 8.2.
8.2, page 40.
It's a supplementary document.
A separate document was given to us. You might have a small screen, hard to have two items up on the same screen. Yeah. No. I'll wait, it's okay. This is, once again, this is the delivery program, quarterly progress update report, 1st of January to the 31st of March. It's a separate document. Oh, sorry. Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I guess, look, there's a lot of detail in this with the amount of events and areas that it covers of council. I guess my word is to the directors, as they're here this evening, can they identify, we have a few with yellow markings that need attention. Are there any that are of concern to them that we perhaps should flag or have discussion on at some point, please?
General Manager, do you want one by one?
I'm happy for the directors to identify whether they have any concerns. Normally, if it was a grave concern, it would be red, but even with the yellow ones, it means that something is needing to be addressed. So in response to Councillor Morris, if directors want to highlight anything, now would be the time. Thank you.
Director, Operations? Sorry.
Operations?
No.
Yes, the Director Operations is ill tonight, sorry.
I just said, yeah. Director of Finance.
I'll need to find this, Mr. Mayor.
All right, well, we'll go over to the manager.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I have nothing of grave concern within that. We still have some reporting time to go before the end of the year where things will be completed and back on track.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I wasn't meaning to alarm anyone, I was just, and it was a generalistic, I guess, approach because there's so many different categories there. But it was just to flag of anything that, to detail now if it's running behind or it's not likely to be fulfilled within the gazetted timeframe. So if nothing's standing out, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morris.
Mr. Mayor, in response to Councillor Morris, what we can do next time is ask staff if it's not green, if it's yellow, to describe what's causing it yellow and what mitigating actions will take place to take it from yellow to green.
I think, General Manager, especially if it's just not going to occur in the time frame that's been allocated. I know there's quite a few items there and it takes some time and additional work to do that, but just certainly if anything's not going to be completed by 30 June, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morris. I've got Councillor Edwards with a red light on, but before we go to Councillor Edwards, you had the question of the Director of Finance as well, or that was okay because you asked both directors?
No, just both, over the whole report. Thank you.
All right,
Mayor.
Director of Finance will comment on some of the information.
Mayor, I've just scanned through my areas. There's nothing of concern that I can see here.
Thank you, Director. Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a question for you, Mr. Mayor, in regards to item 1.12.2, and that's the investigate options for expanding social housing at Eventide over in Yanko. Is there any particular progress there in regards to conversations had with stakeholders like Aboriginal Lands Council or others, and just in terms of that native title claim there as well?
Thank you for the question. I'll direct you to the General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this point in time, there is no further progress, and you might recall that council has actually considered actually delaying this project for a full year till 27-28. So it's not even in next year's budget, and that's to overcome some of these lands title and native title issues, land claim and native title issues that we just need to investigate, as well as we've had some anecdotal feedback from Homes New South Wales that they don't particularly see the site as easily workable. So it's a work in progress, but certainly from council's perspective, it's been delayed a year in our next operational plan.
Yeah,
Thank you,
for
Manager.
clarifying that,
Okay.
General Manager. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, any more discussion on that 8.2 delivery program quarterly? No, so I'll put the motion. All in favour? Aye. Those against? I declare it's carried. Next item is on 8.3, detailed review of council's non-regulated fees and charges on page. Have I gone too quick?
It is page 40 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, right, page 40. So, once again, I'll just reiterate what I just said. Item 8.3, detailed review of council's non-regulated fees and charges on page 40 of the agenda. There's a recommendation there put forward by staff. Is someone like to move that as a motion? Moved by Councillor Tyne, second by Councillor Morris. Any discussion? Councillor Tyne.
Mr. Mayor, that was a very interesting report to read, specifically the amount of subsidies and the percentages going through to various facilities. So I just really have a comment about that with respect to the future. Given the magnitude of some of the subsidies and the rates, I think there's scope to reduce ratepayers, the amount of subsidies these organisations get. And then I found myself wondering if council should place an upper limit on how much it subsidises a facility. So in my head, entirely in my head, I had a maximum of 50%, so fees and charges from users should cover the other 50%. That seems to me a fair and reasonable social contract. And I'd just like to focus on the sports grounds for the moment. Though the ovals are at capacity, I can't imagine how spending millions of dollars on upgrading the facility will bring in so much money that it will bring a net benefit to reduce the subsidy from 97% down to 50%. It's a quandary that we must face squarely in the future.
I take it as a comment. Okay, comment. We've got a motion in front of us. Any more discussion? Morris.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I agree with Councillor Don, and it's a great report, and I think it clearly details then the breakdown in those major areas. I do like the idea of the organisations needing to apply each year for their their right to be able to use the ovals, not their right, but what their subsidy will be, because I think mostly they would be totally unaware of these types of figures, so it will be good to actually communicate that with them as part of that procedure and review. The one thing I was going to say, it's very hard to look in isolation at just those things. I think, anytime we hold a sporting event in town, it certainly brings visitors. It certainly brings people up our main street, whether it's at coffee shops or buying fuel to get, in their vehicle to get home, or you see a lot of out of town people doing, their groceries and things before they head off. So it's very hard to, I feel we do certainly need to subsidise them, but maybe we need to have a good look at them and review those figures to the extent that we are. So thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. My comment is a wider comment, is that most of these services are subsidised right across the field. It's our way of life, it's our lifestyle, it's a part of our journey going forward, what we can do, what we can't do, what we do value as a community. Different sections of the community have different ideas about what we should be doing. So it's a topic for discussion in the future. People have different ideas, but it does show you the subsidy from general fund going forward. And like I say, it's our lifestyle, it's how we live in our house, in our town. And I was also going to say, I forgot what I was going to say at the end of that. Oh, very good from the staff, bring that forward. I think it's one of the first times that the people actually got a real good idea with a pie chart, the number of people attending those different facilities. It's a very good information for us and the community and those users of those particular facilities. So thank you very much. Councillor Maydam?
Really just to kind of echo what Councillor Morris said, it's a great report, but it doesn't capture everything in terms of attendees, whether it be at a football event. We know that the different user groups, or whether it's Leeton United, the Phantoms, the Greenies, are using those ovals, but it's not capturing the numbers of people that are attending those games, getting enjoyment, the full participation numbers, and then that wider impact to the community. I think being able to see those pie charts in terms of how much we are subsidising is a little bit of a wake-up call to us to kind of, I guess, share that information with the user groups and see what can be done moving forward. But yeah, bigger picture on some of that as well in terms of return, economic return to the community.
Thank you, Councillor Maydam. Councillor Kidd.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would also agree with what both Councillor Maydam and Councillor Morris have said. There are hidden bonuses for our community here. Also, this subsidisation honours our community service plans. If you expect football clubs to pick up hundreds of thousands of extra dollars a year in charges, all you're doing is flogging the volunteers that are already working very hard. So you need to be extremely careful in that. One of the organisations involved in this report lose all their grant funding if they actually charge admittance to events. So we need to look at these things very carefully. And then we must say, of course, that every road is subsidised, is it not? And the bicycle track is subsidised for lots of people who don't walk on the bicycle track or ride a bicycle. So, you can't just have these things for one area and not for others. if you say this is worth $50 to me as a ratepayer a year, so that there's an opportunity to have a sporting field or a park for my kids, grandkids, whatever, to play in, then I think that's a fair trade. $1 a week, $2 a week. I think that's a fair thing. Somewhere for me to go and exercise, somewhere to go and sit down on a hot day and on the cool grass. We have to put values on a lot of things, and to just view things purely from a monetary point of view, I think is a bit silly. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Wright, did you have your hand up?
I did, Mr. Mayor, and through you, I'd just like to compliment the staff on the quality of the report. I'd just like to point out to my fellow councillors that this style of reporting is exactly what we've asked for, and so it's what we're getting. And I think it's a good first step into a deeper, more granular understanding of the cause and effect of how we run the council, how the Shire is run operationally. And even if nothing is changed from it, it does give everyone a better appreciation of the value that the Shire adds to their lives, all of our lives. You know, we may well, look to view things from a monetary angle in the future at an even deeper level, including all services. But I think that what it tells us is that it is what we've decided as a community to fund, and it's good for people to be able to see it in case they decide collectively, you know, maybe we need to be spending a little bit less on this and a little bit more on that. It's hard for people to express that when they don't know the facts. So this is a really good first step.
Yes, I concur, Councillor Wright. And like I say, that came from the Financial Sustainability Advisory Committee, part of our journey going forward. And that was round one. We've got number 2 and number 3 to go after. So I'm looking forward to that. And so I had a move and a second. We've had discussion. I'll move the motion. I'll put the motion, sorry. All in favour? Those against? I declare it's carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 8.4, annual fees payable to councillors and mayor, additional fees for 2026 financial year, page 100 of the agenda.
I'll move option 2, Mr. Mayor.
Option 2, do you have a seconder? Councillor Edwards. Now, option 2, fellow councillors, is in the body of the report. And General Manager, can you just help us change those figures or put them on the board in front of us? From memory.
We'll do that, Mr. Mayor. And I'll just read it out in the meantime. That council, this is option 2, is that council applies the 3.7% increase determined by the tribunal to the previously adopted 25-26 fees, resulting in the following fees for 1st of July 26 to 30th of June 27. That would be councillors' annual fee of $15,037 and a mayoral additional allowance of $33,184. And then, of course, there's the ongoing provision of superannuation provisions for councillors in accordance with the superannuation guarantee. So that's
Thank you.
option 2 is.
Thank you, gentlemen. Everybody knows what we're talking about? Yeah? All right. Any discussion? Councillor Edwards.
Unless Councillor Kidd would like to speak as it's his motion.
No, I'm fine, Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Councillor Kidd. Look, I just want to make it clear that from the outset, I do respect the work that other councillors do and the mayor, with long hours, community expectations, and that the tribunal has also determined a 3.7% increase across the board for local government remuneration. I just want to point out that for me, this motion respects that we're about to enter a time where we are really looking into the budget and financial, the financial sustainability of council. If we were to accept the maximum that the council did recommend, which was 19,000 and the mayor getting 42,000. I think that just sends the wrong idea to the community, that we're about to go into these deep conversations about the SRV, but at the same time we've just lined ourselves with even more money, our pockets. So I think this is a great motion to support, that it is in line, I believe it is in line with community expectations of us, and that we're actually there for the community. We're not here just to, make money from the position. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. You've spoken to the motion. Does anybody else want to speak against the motion? If not, I might just ask Councillor Kidd, do you want to close the motion? It's up to you, before I put the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, this is a pretty straightforward sort of thing. I'm a great believer in CPI when it's done properly, perhaps not the way that IPART does it, but when it's done properly and calculated properly, it's a good thing, and I think that's a fair thing. And the other thing to remember here is there is a range that's been put up by the Local Government Remuneration Tribunal, which is an independent body. It ranges over quite a few $1,000s. We're sitting smack in the middle, which is, I think, a fair place to be. There are other councils our size where the councils get paid more. No doubt there's probably a couple which are lower than us, but I think before the adjustment last year we were right down near the bottom. So in the middle's the place to be, and CPI is a really good thing. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kidd. I just want to add to that, all of us would be more wealthier people if we had more time in our own business and so forth. But another thing to think about also is that people will be following us later in other terms, and the more we keep pace with CPI and so forth, that's very important, because there's people who actually would need that. We all need that, but there's other people who like to put their hands forward but find it very hard to find the time or the cost for them to do that. So thank you very much. So I'll move the motion. All in favour? All right, those against? Thank you very much. All right, moving on to, sorry, did I miss it?
No, you were just turning off halfway through. You were going in and out of.
Green's better than red, but anyway. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to capital works, major projects, April 2026. It's on page 202 of the agenda. It's 8.6.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, we're on page 190 first, the investments report.
Oh, sorry.
Item 8.5.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Thank you very much, General Manager, for correcting me. 8.5, investment reports, April 2026, on page 190. There's a recommendation that Council notes the information contained in the investment report for April 2026. That was a recommendation from staff. Does anybody want to move that recommendation? Moved by Councillor Morris, seconded by Councillor Kidd. Any discussion? Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, thank you. I'm happy with the report. There's just a couple of things I'd, and just after discussion on the Saturday workshop we've just recently had, that perhaps that our staff could look at in the future. It's just on page 191 regarding our total cash and investments table. I think sometimes people, those who are unfamiliar with reading council financials, can often just look at that operating capital of the 5.9 million and feel that we've got that available for general revenue, when that isn't the case. We know that there's those unfinished works where there's internal reserves and restrictions that are sitting there that actually occupy most of that money. There's actually very little that moves over from there to our general fund. So I guess as a suggestion, just for example, under the title that says water supply, it would be good just to have a figure that includes those unfinished works. So instead of excluding it, taking it out, we can see that really that money in those cash and investments is actually being committed in works either external or internal to the organisation. I hope I'm not causing too much additional work, but I just feel that would be a clearer picture. I feel sometimes the public can get a misconception of just there's 51 million, why are we going we're tight on our financial position and possibly a special rate variation. And I think just for them to understand that they're occupied with things to improve our shire, and especially in that water and sewerage area, there are actual works that need to be fulfilled for clean drinking water and sewerage services in our shire. The second thing I would just like to touch base on, first of all, I guess, is that okay, Mr Mayor? Just
Yes,
making
go
that
ahead. And
request.
there's no more red lights on and I can't see Councillor Wright, so where we go.
Thank you very much. Just on the water investments, well done for the year. I know that's often additional funds that we're able to pick up that are something that we can't really budget for. So that's, I think it has worked for us progressively selling throughout the year. And you never know, you can wait till the end and the bottom has fallen out of it. So it's not like there's any crystal ball at what time, but I think progressively through the year has certainly brought us over $500,000 profit. So that can be used in our council general fund. My next question is regarding in our summary of term investments. I notice we have an organisation or an investment at 2407 called Laminar Capital, which was just unusual, one that we hadn't heard of. And it seems to be through the ANZ Bank, which I'm happy for a Big Four to be using that facility. But just can you give me a little bit of a background of that organisation, please?
Thank you. Director of Finance.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, certainly. Page 198.
Yeah.
And it is invoice number 24-07.
I had the same question too, Councillor Morris.
It came up on the weekend, isn't it? I was querying one of those and we needed more information.
And thank you. I fully understand that we have professional experts that help council making their investments, but just just an update on that one, please.
Mr. Mayor, so Laminar Capital is like investment advisory. So when that particular term deposit was done, it would have come from them taking their advisory at that point of time. So that's what it is.
So through an organisation like the ANZ Bank?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know it's only a smaller investment in our portfolio, but still, just it was a new one I wasn't familiar with. Thank you. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Sorry,
All right, there's no more red light. Oh, sorry.
Yes, sorry, just I have a question in regards to that as well, through you, Mr Mayor, to the director. Just in regards to that, has the name of that company not changed since then? I've sort of did a little bit of research and I just noticed that they've actually changed the name of the company. Should that be updated if it has been changed?
We can, through you, Mr. Mayor, we can look into that. So if it's changed, we'll change it, yeah.
Thank you.
But the actual investment is with ANZ.
Yes.
So we don't need to worry.
Via them as a
That's
finance
right,
broker.
yeah.
Yep,
So it's
thank
just
you.
a matter of this changing the name, yeah.
Yep, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Councillor Nardi. Anybody else? Councillor Wright's okay. All right, I can't see no more red lights on. And so we had a move and a seconder. We've had a discussion. I'll put the motion. All in favour? All right, those against? I declare it as carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to 8.6, capital works update, major projects that is. April 2026 on page 202 in the agenda. There is a recommendation put forward by the staff. Is someone happy to move that recommendation?
If it gets changed from mayor up projects to
Yeah. All right. Councillor Knight, I think you're going to move that motion. Move that move, and I need a seconder. Councillor Kidd. All right. And the recommendation is the council notes for information the quarterly capital works update report, major projects as of April 2026. And we had a move and a seconder. Any discussion? Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't realise I wasn't on. I do have a question, Mr. Mayor. I do appreciate that major capital works can evolve over time, but given previous reports have indicated that stage 2 was remaining on track for completion for March 2026. And for the benefit of the broader community who have been quite concerned with previous delays and also the finances around the Roxy, could Council provide an explanation to why the revised completion estimate has been updated to November 2026 and December 2027 respectively? Thank you.
Councillor, General Manager, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The Roxy 2 Theatrette will be opened in due course. It's actually completed and the occupation certificate application has already been made. So Roxy 2 itself will be completed. However, one element of the project was a digital advertising board on the side of the Roxy Theatre, and it's been determined that it needs heritage approval before it goes up. And it's also been determined that the weight of the board requires structural engineering reports. So with those two things in mind, the extension that's been requested from Growing Regions particularly relates to the digital board on the Wade Avenue side of the Roxy Theatre.
Thank you, General Manager. I just have one more question following on from that, for you, Mr Mayor. If there is some if it does need a structural report around the digital advertising board, is there money already set aside just in case there needs to be changes made or anything? I'm probably not wording it right. So
Thank you, Mr Mayor. All of the costs are included in the budget, and there's grant money for the lot of it. So there's no additional cost required. We have all the finances to complete the project. It's just the time now of getting those extra approvals put in place.
Thank you, General Manager. I think Councillor Kidd's going to press his red light.
Thank you for the memory jog there, Councillor. Just with regard to that sign, and this is more a statement than a question. Structural report will be very interesting because the ordinary Joe would say, well, you just put a pair of steel legs on the bottom of the thing. But because the Roxy is a heritage building, you have to be extremely careful with that sort of thing. And changing an heritage exterior as well as an interior is a big undertaking. Then you can say, well, we can put it on legs and move it closer to the road. Yeah, that's an option. But signage, if it's too obvious, because Main Road 80, which comprises Currajong and Pine Avenue, is a state government road. The RMS takes control here, and they would see, they would have an interest in anything that was bright or considered to be distracting drivers. So this is a complicated issue, and there's more to it than meets the eye. And knowing Heritage New South Wales, it will take a little while to sort out. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kidd. That was a question from Councillor Edwards, which was answered by the General Manager. Okay, Councillor Edwards, information. All right, is there any more discussion on this particular motion? If not, I put the motion. All in favour? All right, those against? I declare it carried. Thank you very much. All right, we're moving on to item 8.7. Leeton Cemetery Reserve 559041, draft plan of management, on page 207 of the agenda. I'll give you time to get there, everybody. Yeah. I take everybody's there now, yeah? If that's the case, there is a recommendation put forward by staff. Is someone happy to move that? Moved by Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Tynan. Thank you very much. I can read it out for the gallery, just it's on the wall as well. Quite lengthy, but I'll read it to you. The Council approves the draft Leeton Cemetery Plan Management Reserve 559041 to be forwarded to the landowner, Crown Land, Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure, seeking confirmation that the draft plan of management satisfied legislative requirement prior to public exhibition. Point 2, delegates the authority of the General Manager to revise the draft plan of management in accordance with any direction received from Crown Land prior to public exhibition, provided such changes does not alter the intent. Part 3, places the draft plan of management on public exhibition following Crown Land review for a minimum period of 28 days, with submissions invited for the period of not less than 42 days in accordance with the Local Government Act 1993. And Part 4, receives a further report following the public exhibition, including consideration of submissions prior to the adoption of the final plan of management in accordance with Section 40 of the Local Government Act. All right, we had a move and a seconder. Any discussion? Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think it's a great report, and what I did want to just check was it's going out for community consultation and obviously has to be approved by Crown Lands. I assume it will come back to council then as a final report, and we will see any concerns that anyone may have or further suggestions.
Gentleman, comment?
That is correct, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It's a great report, and especially by FJLA. I think they've got some great ideas that really makes you think about, I guess, some things that you don't like confronting or thinking about, that it's going to be inevitable for us all. But I like the suggestions, of following even the gardens and, looking into the future and being a bit more conservative sometimes with our plantings or availability of water and all those factors. So I think it's certainly one for all of us to consider.
Thank you, Councillor Morris.
Thank you.
Probably the wrong word to be, we're excited that this is happening, but
Perhaps not the right word.
not the right word, no. For a while ago. So, all right, we had discussion. Anybody, we move, any more discussion? Councillor Nardi.
Sorry, thank you, Mr Mayor. I agree with Councillor Morris, and I'm pretty happy with the design that these guys have created. It came to us a little while ago, and we're all going to end up in the same place one day, and I think that it's really nice to be able to see traditions of different movement moving forward for the cemetery, the planting of the new trees and consideration of other bushes and flowers for those areas. I do love they have put in an option, which I think is quite moving to have different options for people who are wanting to be buried in a different way, in a natural burial formation. And I think that they've designed the site and structurally fitted in well with the rest of the cemetery. So kudos to them. I think it's quite a good plan, and I can't wait to hear people's feedback, because it is very important that we pass on our loved ones to a nice place and that we can have that on offer for them, and our cemetery is getting full. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nardi. I agree entirely. All right, no more discussion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Those against? I declare it as carried. Moving on to 8.8, and this is the one we're going to have a little bit of discussion on. We've got 4 councillors involved in this particular item. I might ask Councillor Deputy Mayor Michael Kidd to come up to. Are you one of the?
I have no declaration on this.
So then.
So, Mr Mayor, there is a dilemma, because according to the Code of Meeting Practice, a quorum is the majority of the sitting councillors, not the councillors at the meeting. And there are only 4 people left to do the vote. I just would like to know if the councillors who have suggested that they're friends with the President, are they best friends, or do they just wave at them friends? Yeah, how friendly is
Through the Mayor to you, General Manager, I think we all err on the side of caution when it comes to these things. Having obviously Councillor Morris and I are on that committee, but knowing how they run their meetings at the moment, that was another thing. I'm on that committee, but they're actually only sitting with the executive at the moment. So Councillor Morris and I haven't really had the opportunity to attend those meetings. So in a sense, I feel like we haven't had probably any discussion at that meeting level. I don't like to speak for you, Councillor Morris, but we're not invited into those executive level meetings that the Mayor is in at the moment. So maybe it's not warranted, but I guess, I was erring on the side of caution, but happy to potentially, look at that.
Look, I was just seconding what Councillor Mayton. I don't think we have any influence on their decision, the executive, and where they're spending the money in the right place for the Leeton Chamber. And I think that's a very important one, that you don't have influence over that area. So, and I don't think we have. So, again, yes, knowing that we are the councillors delegated to that committee. If the other councillors feel it warranted, I'm happy to sit in on that vote. Because I think it'll be very difficult to have one outstanding that the committee who are assigned the grants committee have already reviewed and made their recommendation. So
Thank you, Councillor Morris. Councillor Edwards, do you want to add something?
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I'm just going to echo what Councillor Mayton has said as well. I'm not on the Leeton Business Chamber of Commerce, and I'm not one of the council delegates. I just did err on the side of caution because my relationship with the president of the business chamber is a sort of professional but also personal one, that we're good friends, that we've gone out together and things like that. So I'm unsure if I feel bad saying it, I'm sure if it falls into the category of best friends, but my concern was a bit different, I guess, coming from a professional background, and that we were both solicitors at the same law firm and that. So I'm unsure if I can get further advice on that or.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. I just want to say that when we do our training, it's left to the individual. We can't get advice from anybody. It's ourselves who have to make that decision. We have to be comfortable with the decision. So I might just ask that question again. I know I can't. I have to vacate the seat. The other three councillors, have any input? Are you happy to?
Mr Mayor, I'm happy to withdraw mine and sit on the vote.
That's good. That gives you a quorum. Yes. All right, thank you very much. Well, I might vacate the seat to Deputy Mayor. Pop up and we'll go outside.
Mr Mayor, are we just discussing Leeton Business Chamber first and then get people back in for other?
Yes, that's right. Sorry, Councillor, I should be more clarified. I was talking about those people who are involved in those particular Chamber of Commerce. Yep. So we've got other ones, haven't we? We do. Yeah, all right, let's go through. All right, so Councillor Wright, I think Councillor Wright, you're one, hasn't it, Councillor Wright? Can you add a comment, please?
Are you asking whether I'm able to vote?
Just hang on 2 seconds, Councillor Wright. Just 2 seconds. We're talking about the Chamber.
The usual way we do it, Mr Mayor, is to say you'll
All
consider
right,
everything except the 3 items where councillors have declared an interest. Those 3 items are the Chamber of Commerce, Leeton Connect and the Leeton Shire Society.
And we're back to
So
square
if you
one.
want to discuss everything else except those 3, and then those 3 you take one at a time.
Yes, we're back to square one. If there's other councillors involved in those other items, vacate the chamber, we're under 4 again.
No, there was only one that had that issue. There was only one that had that issue. So we do them all except for those 3.
All right, we'll do all those. We do Leeton Business Chamber, the Leeton Shire Society, and Leeton Connect.
We're not
going to do those. We're going to debate. We're going to debate the rest.
May I just ask that we move we haven't even accepted the motion yet, have we? If the council were to consider the Leeton Connect one first, so then I can just remove myself for the 2 rest of the ones instead of coming back and forth. Because I've got Leeton Society. Oh, and Leeton Business Chamber.
Fellow councillors, do you understand
So if you
that
just
proposition?
have the ones we're not doing, so put them all back, are they all back? Oh, if you've got them all separately.
Just
Okay.
excuse us, 2 secs.
So these are all the ones left, but it's got the Show Society as. No, it doesn't. So the mayor's, I'm looking at the mayor's computer. Sorry, we've got to look at the screen. Yes. So,
Remove all of number 1 first,
correct,
and we will second that, and then do those.
correct.
All right. So we're going to do
All of number 1.
order number 1. All right. Someone move the motion? Councillor Maton, Councillor Edwards, right? All in favour? Right. Oh, sorry, any discussion? No, all in favour? Good. Thank you, that bit's done. Right, yeah, 2 secs.
And we go to, which is the next one? Oh,
Sorry, what did we just vote on?
All of number 1.
Have you got the screen in front of you, Councillor Wright?
Oh, no.
Yes, there was there was a moment of silence, and I didn't hear what. Are we voting for all the non-controversial ones?
Yeah, on the do you have the screen in front of you, the ones that have been highlighted
I
in
do,
yellow?
Mr. Mayor.
Beg your pardon?
I do, Mr. Mayor.
Right.
Are we voting for the ones in yellow?
Yes, that's right. And we just
Thank you.
moved the motion and we just passed it. Yeah, okay?
Yes, I thought that was what we were doing, but no one read it out, so I wasn't quite sure.
All
'Cause
right.
I can't hear the conversations you're having to the side with each other. So
Rightio, I'll make sure I'm be clear for you. All right, thank you. Now, the next one we're going to deal with.
thank you, Mr Mayor, and Councillor Edwards has declared a conflict of interest, so we'll leave the room for the next one, which is the Leeton Show Society.
All right, fellow councillors, we're discussing the Leeton Show Society. Have a move and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Maton, seconded by Councillor Nardi. Any discussion? All in favour? All right, good, thank you. Next one is...
Yeah, so we'll go to the next,
Councillor Edwards, you can come back, Councillor Edwards.
yeah,
Connect it.
it's very quick.
If it's the chamber one, we can just do that one.
We'll do the Leeton Connect one.
Yes. So,
We're going to discuss Leeton Connect. So Councillor Wright.
for practical reasons, I won't leave the meeting, but I will decline to
Yeah,
vote.
that's okay. Thank you very much. Well, councillors, we're talking about Leeton Connect. Do you have a move and a seconder for, moved by Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Nardi. Any discussion? All in favour? Aye. I declare it passed. Thank you. Now we move on to the Leeton Business Chamber.
Yes, just imagine if we had to do that for every item. Thank you, Mr Mayor. The item we're discussing is a grant for the Leeton Business Chamber. The Mayor, Councillor Maton, who else? Councillor Edwards have all declared an interest. I'll just put the motion. Move the motion, sorry. Councillor Nardi, a seconder, Councillor Morris. Okay, any discussion?
I'd like to say something, Mr. Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Councillor.
I'd just like to congratulate the Leeton Business Chamber on their pivot towards a different way of engaging with their membership and with the community. I'm really excited to see how this new event format works out, and I think it's a really good idea.
I very much agree with you, Councillor Wright. I was quite impressed by that and the plans. Let's hope it works out for them. Any other discussion on this matter? No? Well, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Councillors can return now.
Well, thank you, councillors. Democracy at its best, and good community members that we all are. Thank you very much. Now we're moving on to.
Mr. Mayor.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
Sorry, just to finish off on that note, I'd just like to commend all of the people within the community and all of the community groups that continuously, make the effort to be a part of applying for the grants, for the community strengthening grants. And I'd like to commend the fellow councillors who were on the committee meeting, on the last meeting, to be able to allocate some remainder funds so that it can be transferred to the youth development, so that we can continue to help assisting youth to, for sports and things, and helping make it a little bit easier for parents and families. So I'd just like to, say thank you to those fellow councillors for stepping in and helping be a part of that committee, because it's a great committee to be a part of, and it's really good to see that we're able to not only just help our youth of the town, but also the community groups to continue to provide for those groups in town and the communities that they support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Knighty. Both Councillor Knight and Councillor Matham do great work in that area. Well done for what you do, and fantastic work. They're coming on really well. That little and. All right, and Councillor Wright. Thank you, Councillor Wright, for coming in, nurturing that young democracy amongst the young ones. That's very good. All right, then we might move on to our next item of business, which is item 8.9, post-event Light Up Leeton. There is a recommendation by staff in front of us. Anybody happy to move that recommendation? Councillor Edwards, second by Councillor Kidd. Any discussion? Councillor Edwards, Councillor Morris.
Thank you,
I can't use first name. I have to use surname.
Thank you. Look, just to congratulate Light Up Leeton, it continues to perform every year, and thank you for that dedicated band of volunteers and outdoor staff from council that helped on that weekend to pull the event together. I know that they mentioned that they felt that numbers were a fraction down this last year, but I think sometimes it just clashes with other events at that busy time of year. I don't think that's an indication at all, excuse me, that it's not still a very strong, worthwhile event in our community. So thank you again to all those that assist to make it happen each year.
Thank you,
Mr.
Councillor
Mayor, I have a
Morris.
comment.
Go ahead, Councillor Wright.
As a member of the committee and a volunteer, I'd just like to thank everyone involved, especially the community and the staff. We have a great time, but it is a lot of work. And I just want to let the Mayor know that we have some upgraded elements of pardon me, I should just put this out to Santa Claus in general, because, he's at the North Pole right now, but we actually have a nicer uniform for him and a nicer hairdo as well for this coming year.
I'm really pleased that for Santa, because we need Santa to come back, don't we? So it's very good that these things are on offer for him.
We need him looking his best.
Right, yeah. Thank you, Councillor Wright. What a great day in the park for everybody. Fantastic, as a member of the community in the gallery, who's also part of that Light Up Leeton singing away. We have John Martin in the gallery, and I'd like to acknowledge that. And his part for that. So yes, it's a great day. It's great to be a late night, and great to be part of it. All right, now we had a move in the seconder. We've had discussion. Hang on, sorry, Councillor Kidd.
Just one thing that needs to be mentioned, Mr. Mayor. To run a flagship event like this also takes sponsors. Volunteers are the foundations, but the sponsors are the icing on the cake. And all those people that put the stalls up, we can't do it without you, and that applies to so many events. So a big thank you to everyone involved there.
Well said, Councillor Kidd. All right, any more discussion? We've had a move and a seconder. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Those against? I declare it's carried. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is item 8.11 on page 430.
411.
I've done it again. Sorry, sir. I'm going too
Could
fast.
take them together if you like.
Councillors, are you happy to take 8.10, 8.11 together? Yeah? All right. I don't think I need to move in a second, do I? Just a nod. All right. 8.10 and 8.11. One is country mayors, and one is around a very important advocacy group that we're in, and also we bear do some good work as well with our electricity and our FOGO. It all comes from these particular community, these groups that we're on. Can I have a move in a seconder? Councillor Kidd, Councillor Maton. Any discussion? Councillor Kidd.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Perhaps a question to the General Manager. In the Ramjo minutes, there was quite a lot of discussion about being a Ramjo, a joint organisation of councils, or a ROC, a regional organisation of councils. Just to clarify my mind, and I'm sure other councillors are probably a little confused by the subtle differences in between. If we were to transfer, say, to a ROC model rather than a Joe model, what sort of impact would that have on our council, but also the projects we do as a group? Because there is power in numbers. Thank you.
General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The answer I'm giving today is different to the answer that I would have given when JOs were set up. When they were originally set up, the government provided some funding for operations of JOs. Nowadays, the government doesn't provide any funding. So effectively, you could argue that many of the activities done by a joint organisation of joint procurement, joint services and whatnot could happen under a ROC anyway. However, it is the view of most people within the joint organisation that at the end of the day, there is a very good network with joint organisations. They meet regularly and they have access to ministers and whatnot that ROCs wouldn't typically have by working collaboratively. The cost implication of being a JO sits around the fact that we have to have an audit risk and improvement committee under legislation, but they've done it as smartly and as efficiently as possible by leveraging off the Albury City Council, ARIC, who is prepared to do, let's just say, the lightest touch kind of ARIC responsibilities, which keeps the cost particularly low. So previously, just to reiterate, we all happily joined the JO because it came with money from the government. Nowadays, it doesn't come with money anymore, but the conversations happening at a statewide level and access to ministers is deemed to be far greater and more effective than operating as a ROC, which is a regional organisation of councils, which is not enshrined in the Local Government Act. Joint organisations are actually in the Local Government Act.
Yes, that's right. A ROC is a loose connection of councils, with a JO is actually more legally binding together.
Well, I may ask another question then, Mr Mayor. Something like our collaborative purchase of electricity, which saves us about 300,000 over the term of the contract, would that sort of thing have been possible under a getting confused here, under a rock rather than a JO?
Through Mr Mayor, it seems that these sorts of things can be made possible, and the organisation that seems to be able to navigate this well is ReRock. They were Riverina, Eastern Riverina JO, but they've returned back to being a ROC. And they still seem to get involved with joint procurement projects and whatnot. But at the end of the day, their affiliation fees with each other and their membership fees don't change. Being a JO doesn't cost us any more than being a joint organisation, other than the ARIC cost. The ARIC cost is really the only point of difference. But it is easier, and there's more, I suppose, there's a sense that funders have more confidence in funding a joint organisation because of the rigours of having an ARIC. So it would give you if you came down to some level of competition, the JO would probably get funding before the ROC, is the view of many members of our joint organisation. So it's deemed to be a safer option than a ROC.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thank you very much for that. That's quite correct. Because we've just been asked recently by the Minister to whether we want to be a ROC or a JO, and left up to all the different organisations. How many JOs across New South Wales was there? Don't know.
I can
Good on that.
take that on notice,
Yeah.
but I think there are about 4 or 5 functional ones.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. I will
Up
double check
New
the
England
numbers
way
and
and
let
all
you
those
know.
other places. Yeah. All right, thank you. We had a mover and a seconder for both. Oh, sorry, Councillor.
Mr Mayor, all I was going to say is, look, I think the joint organisation at this point is serving us well. It's common councils, neighbouring councils and further afield. I like their priorities. They suit our Shire's needs, which is water security number one. And not everyone is right on the river, but they're certainly combined to have that force to make that their priority. The next one being our energy security and affordability, the transport connectivity, digital connectivity, better health services, housing and transport. And they're all things that are very relevant to us and in our priority list. So I think if we've got 11 councils together, I think it can only be in strength, and then the quality of those that we get to have in there, get in front of, which ministers or shadow ministers certainly helps. So thank you, Mr Mayor.
That's correct, Councillor Morris. And also Hay Council had opted out before, another one opting back in again. So they see the strength and the wisdom of being part of that membership. All right, everybody. We had a move in a seconder or discussions. Okay. Is your light on, Councillor Morris?
Oh.
No, that's okay. I'll put the motion. All in favour? All right. Those against? I declare it's carried. Thank you. Moving on to notice of motions. We have a notice of motion from Councillor Tynan on page 466. I have a mover. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Edwards. Councillor Tynan, do you want to speak to it? Make sure everybody's got 3 minutes.
It's page 446, Mr Mayor, not 66. Sorry.
Oh, right. I'm dyslexic. Sorry about that. 466.
You got your timer going?
I think I have.
I've timed this. It comes at about 3 minutes, 1 second or two. So.
All right.
Council's response repeatedly tells us that Professor Drew is here to provide assurance. That is a comforting bureaucratic word. It implies everything is already in order and the expert is here simply to nod along. If everything is in order, why is he here? But assurance is not independent, fearless and frank advice. So when Council frames Professor Drew's work as assurance, it places him inside the administrative framework rather than the governance framework. That is exactly the grey zone this motion seeks to close. Because who decides what gives council assurance? Staff or the elected council? It must be us. We cannot derive assurance from a process we do not direct, from advice filtered through an administrative lens, or from a consultant whose priorities are shaped by staff. We saw that last week when Council inserted an additional survey at extra cost that added nothing beyond the consultant's own work. That is a subtle intrusion on an independent expert's autonomy. This motion restores the proper governance relationship. Staff administer the contract. Councillors direct the consultant's work. Councillors derive assurance from their own interrogation of the findings, not staff's interpretation. That is not operational interference. It is good governance. Council reminds us that only councillors can recommend an SRV to IPART. True, but operational momentum often builds long before councillors vote. We have all seen the pattern. Assumptions become plans, plans become strategies, and strategies become a recommended option placed before us. Last week, one rate variation scenario was labelled aspirational, the one that raises more revenue than is needed to keep council afloat. We must be clear whose aspiration that is. It is not the communities, they have not been asked. There has been no consultation, no engagement, no survey, no conversation with ratepayers about what they aspire to. So at this stage, aspirational can only refer to council's aspiration for more revenue, not the community's aspiration for higher rates. That is why governance must lead from the start. If an SRV is to be aspirational, the aspiration must come from the community, not from an administrative trajectory later presented for endorsement. This motion ensures any aspiration for a rate variation is democratically grounded, not administratively assumed. It makes clear that an SRV is a governance decision, not an operational initiative, and the councillors must lead from the beginning, not the end. Council says staff are already cooperating fully. If so, formalising that cooperation should be the easiest vote of the night. But informal, unstructured, interpretive cooperation is another grey zone. Governance requires clarity, not assurances. This motion provides that clarity. Finally, the one team language is noted, but unity is not achieved by ignoring governance issues. Unity comes from strong governance, explicit roles, and an elected council whose authority is beyond doubt. This motion strengthens governance, transparency, the independence of the financial review, and the community's confidence that their elected representatives, not the administration, are steering Leeton's financial future. I commend the motion.
That was the speaker for the motion. Anybody speak against the motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Wright, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the motion claims to be in support of good governance. Good governance from the perspective of an elected councillor such as myself is, among many things, ensuring that processes are followed, including the law, and that the will of the community is paramount in the direction given to the General Manager. But good governance is not just something that councillors tell the GM to do. Good governance is something that happens collectively and includes the actions and interactions of councillors, the GM and her staff, between all of us and members of the public, third-party organisations, institutions, suppliers, and the state and Commonwealth. Governance is not something that is granted from above through the will of an elected official. It's not symbolic, it's practical. Operational access to an independent consultant also does not guarantee good governance. We have access to Professor Drew, but it's not enough for us to be able to say we have met our obligations under the Local Government Act. Given that we have unfettered access to Professor Drew, then what is the result of that access? We must take the time to learn and to articulate what we have learnt, and to engage in dialogue with each other and the community, but also with the GM and her staff so that our decisions are meaningful and correct. This is all happening both through the processes and committees that have existed for a long time, as well as informally through a healthy culture of collaboration between councillors and the senior leadership team of council, and through the relatively new Financial Sustainability and Accountability Committee. Councillors have had input into what advice is sought from Professor Drew since the beginning of his engagement by council. We voted on whether or not to fund his services. We voted on the form a committee would take that would channel most of the development of Professor Drew's relationship with us and with the community. We will, of course, vote on future engagement and on future decisions that may be put forward by that committee or by Professor Drew himself. If any decisions about what advice we seek as councillors from Dr. Drew is to be made without the General Manager's input, then that doesn't resemble good governance, because then we would not be making use of all the resources we have available to us. And for what? Just to say we did it ourselves without anyone else helping? We gave direction to the GM and we agreed to form the Financial Sustainability and Accountability Committee. When we voted on motions and recommendations put forward by that committee, and as an elected body, we decided that both the extensive workshops councillors have participated in with the good professor and with the committee were the main ways we were going to engage with the topic of both the long-term financial outlook of the Shire as well as the possibility of another SRB proposal. Sadly, I have to point out that the motion in item 9 asks us to concern ourselves with the possibility that the General Manager and her staff will withhold salient data and insights that would cause councillors to presumably decide against the interests of the people of Leeton Shire. The councillor has asserted in correspondence with me that his motion does not promote division. I fail to see how something that strongly implies that council staff may deliberately interfere with documentation is not divisive. We are a small community and a small council. Words matter. What we say and how we say it matters. There is no evidence that anything...
Sorry, Councillor Wright, it's getting close to 3 minutes. I just got to just mention that to you, my friend.
Is it getting close? I thought I had 5 minutes. There is no evidence that anything has been hidden from councillors. We have full access to Professor Drew via phone and email. The Financial Sustainability Committee has followed a wide-ranging path of exploration, and I found it very educational, as I've been an observer at most of the meetings. Listening to Professor Drew's insights into and experience of the SRB process in many LGAs he has worked with, and of local government finance in general, has been an important part of my development as a councillor.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Sorry,
Don't I get 5 minutes?
I can't give you 5 minutes, unfortunately, Councillor.
Mr. Mayor, I thought that the rules were 5 minutes, not 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes, my friend. Sorry, but yes, sorry. So just moving on. Someone to speak against the motion, for the motion, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I just want to give some of my thoughts around this motion. I do think it's healthy that in local government for councillors to reaffirm where democratic accountability ultimately sits, and that's with us. Particularly when we are talking about major financial decisions, long-term sustainability, and potentially asking the community to pay more through their rates. So ultimately, it should be that elected council that determines what level of scrutiny, analysis and information gives us confidence in making decisions on behalf of the community, not some sort of assurance as being used in some of the wording. And look, I don't think there is anything unreasonable about councillors wanting to make it explicitly clear that an independent consultant engaged to review council's financial sustainability should be directly and only accountable to the elected body that commissioned the work. To me, that actually strengthens governance, doesn't weaken it, councillors. Also, just another note that a special rate variation is actually more fundamentally a political and democratic decision, not merely an operational process. Yes, formally only councillors can decide whether an application goes to IPART, but I do think that the broader concern being raised here is that sometimes momentum can develop around a preferred direction before the elected council has fully had that debate and has fully taken that information from impartial observers and consultants. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Someone vote against the motion? Councillor Kidd. Councillor Kidd, and followed by... Yeah, Councillor Kidd. Go ahead, Councillor Kidd.
Thank you, Councillor Morris. Thank you, Councillor Weston. Councillors, I'm happy to speak against this motion. The motion presented merely reiterates the current policies and procedures of this council, the chains of commands and duties that currently exist at Leeton Shire. So why do we need this motion when they already exist? Councillors and staff already operate under the Office of Local Government Guidelines, as described in the Local Government Act, as well as the directives issued by the relevant New South Wales Minister for Local Government. The roles of councillors and staff are quite clearly defined in such guidelines. And this council, and that includes all of us, follow those guidelines, as I believe, at all times. It certainly is a major priority for me. Everything the council does is closely scrutinised. This meeting, for example, is live streamed. Except for a few confidential matters, all minutes and council papers are available for the public to view or inspect. Nothing's being hidden. Our financial papers and regular financial updates are again freely available to the public, and these documents are audited and scrutinised by the New South Wales Audit Office. Every aspect of council's business is inspected quarterly by the ARIC, an independent audit, risk and improvement committee of 3 experts in the fields of finance, governance and risk. If governance is not up to scratch, they are duty-bound to inform council of such breaches. ARIC reports are presented to council meetings quarterly. So again, why do we need this motion? Last year, this council won the prestigious Blewett Award for the best rural council in New South Wales.
Councillor Edwards, could you please have decorum, please?
Best rural council in New South Wales. And it's not a joke. Leeton Shire Council was inspected by 3 experts in their fields within local government and found to be the best performing rural council in New South Wales. This is the equivalent of an Oscar. You know, the little gold man, or a gold Logie for councils. This is an award that is coveted by every council. This could not have been achieved without being at the top of our field in governance and finance. So once again, why do we need this motion? Council has engaged Professor Joseph Drew to thoroughly inspect all aspects of our finances, policy and procedures. I 100% support that. We as a council are grateful to have such a thorough root and branch inspection of Leeton Shire Council's operations undertaken
Mr Mayor,
by...
is that 3 minutes?
I'm just going to say something. I've just found out I've been given it's 5 minutes. You are correct, Councillor Wright, and I'll give you Councillor Wright and Councillor Tynan a couple of more minutes afterwards.
All right.
Go ahead, Councillor Kidd.
I'll recommence that paragraph, Mr Mayor. Council has engaged Professor Joseph Drew to thoroughly inspect all aspects of our finances, policy and procedures. We as a council are grateful to have such a thorough root and branch inspection of Leeton Shire Council's operations undertaken by arguably Australia's foremost expert on local government. Professor Drew at all times praises council's support and transparency in providing him all the resources he needs to do his work. He regularly states we are one of the best councils he has ever worked with. And I can tell you this, Professor Drew would not remain silent if he felt that he was being shut up or closeted in any way, shape or form. He does this because he enjoys it, and he does it because he enjoys working with this council. So again, why do we need this motion? I do not think the councillors here need to be lectured on their responsibilities to the community or their relationships with staff under the Local Government Act or the Code of Conduct. If council passes this motion, we would be saying that good governance is not the current practice at Leeton Shire Council. And I'll repeat that, not the current practice at Leeton Shire Council. And we know that to be rubbish. This is a patently false insinuation, and contrary to Councillor Tynan's stated intent, this insinuation casts a shadow and a stain over the honesty and integrity of every councillor, every staff member and the whole of Leeton Council. That is the definition of reputational damage, Councillor Tynan. That is reputational damage. Please do not support this motion tonight. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kidd. Councillor Wright, I did cut you off. Can you give me a moment and I'll just go through if anybody speak for the motion again? No? All right. Councillor Wright, can you finish off your 5 minutes?
Yes. I had just said that I had just expounded on Professor Drew's insight and experience before I was cut off. Contrary to what Councillor Tynan has asserted, information from Professor Drew has not been filtered to me via the staff. I receive information directly from him and at will. Along with the rest of the councillors, I also receive the product of an enormous amount of work completed by council staff, some of which was sought by the FSAC, some of which the GM directed her staff to develop in anticipation of what the Financial Sustainability Committee and the Mayor and individual councillors may request. The GM and her staff also have an intrinsic interest in a well-run and compliant council organisation, both as it employs them and because they are members of this community. Objective metrics such as the time it takes Leeton Shire to process a DA, the meeting of targets set, and of subjective but important measures like winning the Blewett Award for local government, as mentioned by Councillor Kidd, or being the first non-metropolitan LGA to have a complete master plan for the Shire, or being ahead of all other rural LGAs in our use of digital twins of assets and infrastructure, all placed Leeton Shire in the top 10 best run local governments out of the 128 in the state of New South Wales. This speaks to a strong culture of competence and of highly skilled leadership. I don't see any utility in this motion. It doesn't change the access we have. It doesn't enhance the processes that contribute to the quality of governance at Leeton Shire, and it is even somewhat harmful to those processes, which in themselves rely on trusting relationships and an atmosphere in which staff feel free to give advice safely. To accept this motion is to accept what it implies, that we are somehow being duped, which is not the case, and which, if not meant as an insult, may be interpreted as such. If any of my fellow councillors suspected that I was being led down the garden path, I would expect them to come to me and show me the evidence of this long before seeing the need to move a motion this abstract, and this has not happened. I urge councillors to vote against this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Does anybody else speak for the motion? No. I just want to say a few words before I give you the closing remark, and I'll give you another 2 minutes, because I cut you short a bit before, right? I concur with those people speaking against the motion. I mean, it's like moving a motion that we all must drive on the left-hand side of the road. Well, we know that. It's part of the law. The same as this. We are dealing with the law, and we do work within the law. And it's been given to us as councillors to administer in conjunction with the staff to bring a working council and a sustainable council. I feel that this sort of dispersion of myself has not been able to be not control, but be part of the debate about what we're going forward. It's very important that this debate is aired, but I don't think that the assertions that we are being hoodwinked or taken down the garden path by other people. I have full faith in the staff, I have full faith in the general manager, I have full faith in the councillors around me, and also the FSAC committee, who've sat down and listened to the arguments and put forward their thoughts, and we're going for due process, and I'm quite pleased with what we're doing, and I commend people not to vote against this particular motion, and pass on to Councillor Tynan to close the debate before we put the motion.
Just a point of order, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, Councillor Tynan.
Yeah.
What's the rules around a right of reply, and how long does Councillor Tynan get for that?
I said I'd give him another 2 minutes for on topics right reply.
Is it 2 minutes or is it more? Can we just have a ruling on that?
Well,
Because you're about
because it's 5 minutes, like Councillor Edwards, because it's, do you mind decorum, please? All right? Right. Now, I'm telling you that it's 5 minutes. We thought it was 3 minutes, it's 5 minutes. So we cut Councillor Tynan 2 minutes, so you have another 2 minutes on top of your 5 minutes, so you've got 7 minutes.
In 2022, I attended 2 community meetings about the SRV. In terms of effective engagement, they were a disaster and at times they became quite hostile. That hostility, in my view, stemmed from the fact that it was clearly a council-driven process with ineffective community engagement, leaving the consultant and the GM to absorb the community's frustration. I remember looking around the room wondering when an elected representative would stand up and explain their aspiration for a 52% rate rise. No one did, though I saw them standing in the background. Instead, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
Come on.
Why aren't you calling to quorum for
Do you mind? I'm talking, Councillor
Point
Edwards.
of order.
Councillor Edwards. Councillor Kidd, could you please refrain from interjecting?
I'll just clarify. In the meetings I went to, I said that was relative, Councillor Kidd. Let me finish without interruption. No one did. Instead, the message delivered to us was that doom and gloom would follow if we did not agree to the 52% increase. Yet here we are today, and that predicted collapse has not occurred. I did not believe we needed a 52% rate rise then, and I do not believe we need a similar aspirational rise now. So I want to acknowledge those councillors who refuse to accept the Chicken Little narrative that the sky is falling. Nonetheless, I do not relish the prospect of standing in front of a hostile crowd, but it is the community that elected me, and I believe I have a moral obligation to front them honestly and transparently. To do that, I need full and unfiltered information. I do not want material prepared for me by administration, and I would not accept an operational narrative crafted to steer the community engagement process. I will only accept information from an independent consultant who is accountable to me and my elected colleagues. I encourage those councillors who voted to apply for an SRV in 2022 to prioritise democratic independence over administrative convenience and to ensure that this time the community hears directly from its elected representatives, not merely from the machinery of council. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you very much. Everybody knows the motion in front of you. All right. Councillor Nardi.
Sorry.
A question?
I'd just like to make a motion. Everybody here is allowed to speak for themselves and think for themselves, and at no point in time would I ever state that at that meeting that I was not able to speak up or not able to feel like I could have my say. Unaware to some people, I was in the back because I arrived late due to work. My heart is beating right now because at that point in time, I was actually in a situation where a drunk community member came up into my face and was abusive to me, and Councillor Kidd had to step in. I'm emotional right now because you may not have seen that and no one else may have seen that. But if it wasn't for Councillor Kidd, I would have had to leave that room. At no point in time was I not there for the community, and I just want to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nardi. That was a comment. I'm going to move the motion to be put. Those in favour of the motion? Those against? I declare the motion is lost. Thank you very much for tonight's debate.
I'd like my vote recorded, please, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, right. Sorry, Councillor. In favour. Right. Sorry, Councillor. Right. Yes, we'll do that for you. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll move on. Pardon? Yes, sorry. Councillor Wright, and for those people listening, Councillor Wright wants to have his vote recorded against it, and I think I might add mine as well. Thank you very much. Councillor Morris, Councillor Kidd. All right, thank you very much. All right, democracy. Moving on to conclusion of the meeting. So, General Manager.
That's it.
That's it. All right. I call the end of the May 2026 Ordinary Council meeting finishes at 8:13. Thank you very much.
General Manager, councillors.
Thank you.